Good morning, everyone. This is Pastor Kevin. I hope you can hear me well. I'm trying to see if I could get this coming to work. Anyway, I wanted to share a word with you today from John chapter 15. It says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Every branch in me that does not produce fruit, he removes, and he prunes every branch that produces fruit, so that it will produce more fruit. Then in verse 8, the word says, My Father is glorified by this, that you produce much fruit and prove to be my disciples. Then in verse 9, Jesus says, As the Father has loved me, I have also loved you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. So, man, I want to share this word with you for today that God has placed on my heart. And please, as you're watching, you can share. But basically, John chapter 15 is one of the most powerful passages in the book of John, if not the most popular passage. And in this passage, Jesus shares a parable about the vine and the branches. And Jesus talks about how the vine dresser prunes the branches so that it can bear more fruit. And there's one word in the text, whenever you read the Bible, you got to look at the key words. There's one word in the text where Jesus keeps saying, remain in me, remain in me, remain in me, remain in me, so that you might bear fruit. Then at the end, Jesus says, if you remain in me, in other words, if you remain in my love, you will love just like, you will love others just as I have loved you. Now, the first point I want to share this morning is that we're going through a season right now where God is pruning us. We're going through a season right now where God is removing some things from our lives that we thought we needed, that we thought we couldn't do without. He's pruned our schedule. He's pruning our culture. There's no sports. There's no concert. He's pruning our activities. We're going through a season of pruning where God is removing some things from our lives that we thought we couldn't do without. And I remember when I lived in my first house in Loma Linda, my second house actually, I had a beautiful blossom tree. And our landlord came and it was blooming and it was beautiful. And this dude chopped everything off. He literally, it looked like he killed my plant. Everything was cut off of it. And I'm like, you killed my plant. But this landlord, this gardener, he knew what he was doing. He was pruning this plant so that it could grow. And you have to understand, in that culture, when they had grapevines or different plants, it would be drugged down into the dirt and there would be cobwebs. And so, in other words, God is pruning us right now. And it's painful, but the purpose of this pruning, this removing from our life the things that we thought we couldn't do without, is so that we might grow. It's so that we might bear fruit. And right now in our culture, we're going through a challenging, difficult season. And you're like, God, what I'm experiencing right now is painful. But God is saying, I need to remove from your life the things that has been dragging you down. The busyness, your obsession with stuff, because I need to help you grow. I need to help you to be more fruitful. And the second thing we see in this text is that God not only wants us to be fruitful, but Jesus is removing from our lives the things that we thought that we needed so that we can realize that our most important need is to be connected to Him. In other words, when the leaves would be cut, the only thing that would be left would be a branch that would be connected to the vine. In other words, Jesus is helping us to realize that our most important need is to have a connection with Jesus. Our most important need is to be connected to the vine, and as long as you're connected to the vine, the source, the one who provides you with everything you need, as long as you're connected to the vine, the one who holds you up no matter what you're going through, as long as you're connected to the vine, you'll be able to flourish even in adverse circumstances. And so Jesus is teaching us all that stuff that you thought you needed. I'm going to show you that you can do without it. I'm going to show you that it was actually dragging you down. That busyness was dragging you down. Just passing your family by, not having time for them, was dragging you down. Your obsession with yourself was dragging you down. And I'm going to remove that so that you can grow. And then I'm going to position you to realize that your most important need is to be connected to me. And if you're connected to me through my word, through prayer, through fellowship, you're going to have everything you need to flourish. And we might not have a lot of the stuff we used to have, sports and concerts and going out to eat and shopping and movies. But guess what? We have all we need in Jesus. The last thing that this passage shows us is that when we're connected to Jesus, we'll have the most important thing that matters. Jesus says, if you're connected to me, you'll have my love. If you're connected to me, you'll have my love. You'll have love that this world needs. You'll have love that your family needs. You'll have love that your neighbor needs. If you're connected to me, you will be a conduit through which I can reveal my love. And that's the beauty of being connected to the vine. When we're connected to Jesus, our lives will be characterized by love. The other day, man, I needed Wi-Fi so that I could do what I'm doing now in my house so that I could stream. I needed Wi-Fi because we didn't have it, but when everything was shut down at my church, we needed to be connected. So we called Spectrum. The guy went up on the post and he strung some wires and he bored some holes, and I got some routers and he got us hooked up. He got us connected. And so now from my phone, I could go on Wi-Fi from my computer, on our TV, on the stream. We're using and we're accessing the Wi-Fi, and it's 5G, and we have the best connection possible. But I believe that what we're going through today is showing us that we need to be connected to Jesus Christ. And we don't want just any type of connection where it's just 2-bar. We want, 5G, whatever it needs, whatever that calls for, we want to have the best connection with Jesus possible. Because when we're connected to Jesus through his word, through prayer, even if we have to scale back on the way life used to be, it's for the purpose of helping us to grow. And when we're connected to Jesus, we'll have everything we need to flourish. I could say some more. The vine, the branch is totally dependent on the vine. Apart from the vine, the branch has nothing in of itself. Everything it needs comes from the vine. We have nothing in and of ourselves. Everything we need comes from Jesus. And Jesus says, hey, if you work on being connected to me, not talking about Spectrum, not talking about 5G, but if you work on being connected to me through my word, you'll have everything you need to flourish. And more than that, you'll have love. I'm not talking about tradition. I'm not talking about the 28 fundamentals. I'm not talking about attending church. Your life will be characterized by love. And your kids will see it. Your spouses will see it. Your neighbor will see it. Your world will see it. And what the world needs now more than ever is people connected to God whose lives are characterized by love. And so I want to pray for you. You might be going through some pruning and you're like, God, what's happening in my life is drastic. But I'm going to trust that it's a part of your process to help me grow. I want to pray for you. Maybe you haven't been close to Jesus and you're like, man, I want to be connected to Jesus so that I have everything that I need to flourish. And maybe your life hasn't been characterized by love and you want to experience more of God's love and you want to show that love to your kids when you're stuck in the house with them and your spouse and you're like, God, I don't have that in and of myself, but if I'm connected to you, you'll give that to me. So if you have any prayer requests, put that in the comment section. And I just want to say a word of blessing over you today. Oh God, we humbly come before your throne of mercy and grace. Right now, our world is being pruned. We are coming to realize that a lot of the things that we thought we needed, we don't need. It was only dragging us down. And you're pruning us, and it's painful. But we're praying, God, that you will help us to grow in this season because you want to bring us into a season of growth. And just strengthen, God, those who have lost jobs. Strengthen, God, those who have been affected by this coronavirus. Strengthen, God, those who are first responders and nurses and doctors and people whose lives are just falling apart right now. God, help them to know that if they're connected to you, you'll give them strength in this season. And more than anything, God, help us to be connected to you so that we'll have the assurance that nothing can separate us from your love. And that if we're connected to you, even in the midst of Corona, we can flourish and we can be conduits through which you display your love. I love you all. Have a blessed day. Remember, take time to be connected to the vine so that you can bear fruit and your life can be characterized by God's love. God bless you all.